Welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. How are you doing? Okay, practice what you preach. Practice what you preach. Okay, what am I drinking today? This is a freshly squeezed apple, organic apple. There's 3 in here, 2.5-ish. Green and a red, and also fresh ginger, the root. So there you go, with some flamencos. Hey, look. Beautiful. You can feel it running through the body and energizing. Wow, it's pretty amazing. You can feel the ginger as well, just taking its divine place in the body and healing it. You can feel it. You can feel the cleansing and clearing of the ginger. It's clearing away. It's feeding the physical. It's incredible. That was gorgeous. Why did I just do that? To remind you. Give yourself some love. Give yourself some kindness. Give yourself some healing. And squeeze a lemon today. Put some water in it and drink it. You know, cold press a nice, beautiful piece of fruit and just drink it and feel it. As long as it's organic, you're going to be fine. Okay, what we're doing today, we're going to talk about, I've had this message sent to me loads of times now, so I'm going to answer it again because it seems to me right now is that there's so many videos on Mark Bajerski YouTube channel that you can't find what you want to find. So I'll reinvent the same video and let's see where we go with it. So last night, this morning, I received lots of messages. How can I get over this feeling of anger, frustration? How can I get over this anger that I hold within me about people, about family, about friends? What is the best crystal to use? So I'm going to introduce you to it for the umpteenth time, but it's worked for me over the years, and let's begin then. So I think what happened to me was walking on this path, I started realizing very quickly that things weren't what they seemed. You know, spirituality isn't really spirituality. People who claim to be healers, psychics, seers, mediums and shamans and yoga gurus and speakers of truth, and not really what they speak, not really what they teach. So I quickly realized that I was entering into a field of work which was very, very unusual for me. I'd not been in this kind of field of work before. Like every field of work I've done, I've never sort of seen such. It was hypocritical, really. It really was. I'm sorry, but it was. It was like, hang on a minute, you just said that and you're doing that. So I realized, and that's when I came out with it, those who preach need to learn what they're preaching more than who they're preaching to. And that just didn't come out of thin air. That came out of basically seeing it all around me. And I became a little bit of a hermit and kept myself to myself. And when anybody said they were spiritual or if they were psychic, I'd be running off, because my experience of these people wasn't very nice. So I thought, I don't want to go through this anymore. And like I used to say to, like people used to say to me, oh, you're psychic. I know somebody else is psychic. You need to get together. And I'd say, what do you do for a living? Oh, I clean houses. Oh my God, I know somebody else who cleans houses. You two need to meet. And they go, huh? And I go, exactly. So getting back to this crystal. Where's he going with this? So I started feeling a little bit frustrated, and then I started hearing really awful things said about me, and I'm going, what? Why? What did I do to them? They'd say, I don't know. And I'd say, but did I do something to offend them? No, I don't think so. Well, why are they saying such horrible things? And I had to learn how to forgive people who were basically in this spiritual field of work. I had to learn to forgive them because I started getting a bit upset, like feeling bad, and then thinking, well, I haven't done anything to them. Then I get a bit angry. So I was really kindly introduced to a crystal. And as soon as I touched this crystal, I realized, wow, this is amazing. And I sat and meditated over, a couple of years with this crystal and realized that this crystal is the crystal of forgiveness. And it's not only forgiving others, but it's forgiving ourselves for what we've done. And people say, whoa, what does that mean? Forgive yourself, forgive yourself. It's a lot of rubbish, shut up. Well, actually, you do. You've got to forgive yourself. If you don't, then you're going to live in guilt, suffering, fear, worry. You're going to live in a low energy. So I forgive all the stuff that I've done. What is it? What have I done to forgive? I've no idea, but I just want to forgive everything. So I ended up working with this crystal, and I'll show you it. It's in my hand. And if you can see, this is the mother stone where it was dug from. But if you look very carefully there, that beautiful blue, very beautiful blue, that's Cavansite. So there's the back of it. These are mounted. So I take the Cavansite from India and mount them myself in Bali and then get them sent back. Cavansite comes from India. Only one cave in Pune, and it's a fascinating crystal. And whenever I feel a little bit lost or a little bit down or a little bit upset because I've heard another bad thing said about me, and I get upset, or a family member might be upset or something, or whatever it is, if I'm out there, I'm looking at people who are angry at each other, and I can see that frustration building up, and I can feel that addictive energy of anger and resentment and bitterness and fear. I often take a Cavansite and wear it. I wear that Cavansite and I hold it in my hand. And I just sit and close my eyes. More often than not, when I'm wearing Cavansite, which was probably the most difficult times of my life, it really did the work without me having to hold it. It just leave it around your neck. I used to leave it, depending on how and what situation was. If it was a situation within myself, I would leave it higher up. If it's a situation of people being awful and nasty and and doing bad things, and I'm holding that anger within me because of other people's actions, I go lower down to the stomach. But doesn't really matter. I think if you wear it, it will do the job. It's a very powerful crystal. It resonates in an amazing energy. And yeah, what are the things that Cavansite do? Well, I call it the crystal of forgiveness. And it's probably, in my field of work, I would say it's the second most or third most important crystal in the world. And when you live in an energy of peace, free from anger, bitterness, sadness, resentment, all of those jealousy, angers, or anything that people may have done to you and you're holding on to, if you can release them and let them go and forgive them and just move on, life starts to become beautiful again. You start to feel happy again. You start to find, oh my God, this is how I should be. This is me. This is how I was meant to be. Oh my God, what was I like then? That was terrible. And then all of a sudden you realize, and I did, that, wow, it's when I'm wearing Cavansite. So what I did from that moment on, I started working with Cavansite with clients just to make sure if this is really true. A lot of the times when I placed a piece of Cavansite on somebody's heart and started a healing session, I always found that the client would cry. they would let go, they would forgive, and ultimately they would become stronger. Um, there's been many a times that I've seen teenagers come to me, lay down, and I've put a piece of Cavansite in their hand and laid a piece on their chest, just here, and did the healing work. And afterwards, they get up, and a month later, 6 months later, they tell me that after getting up and taking that Cavansite with them, they broke free from a partner who was not very nice. So I often saw that the effect of Cavansite built up something within them, which was like the warrior energy to say, actually, I forgive, but I'm not going to be treated like this no more. I'm not going to allow people to make me upset or angry or frustrated. I'm not going to be affected by the negative thoughts and feelings that I have from day to day. So Cavansite actually works in lots of different ways. If somebody said to me, how does it actually work? I'd say it works in multiple levels, and Cavansite alone is beautiful, but the mother stone also has this nurturing feeling. The mother stone, which it comes from, which is this, basically the mother stone. So the Cavansite is the blue, but the mother stone is equally as important, and that kind of, it just gives you that added security and feeling of that somebody's got you, they're holding on to you. That's the only way I can explain as I wear it, and as my clients used to explain to me, wow, I feel stronger, I feel like somebody's got my back, I feel like I can do this because there's a support system. And it makes sense. The mother stone is the support system for the Cavansite. The Cavansite is the stone that breaks free from that feeling of anger and release, resentment, guilt, all of those feelings that keep you frozen. So Cavansite is a great crystal. It really, really is a beautiful crystal. That's why whenever I come across Cavansite on my travels, on my trips abroad, wherever I go, if I ever see if somebody's got a collection of Cavansite, I snap it up because it's becoming harder and harder to get hold of. I don't normally have that many pieces on the website, but when I do, they go very quickly. I haven't even checked. I don't even know. I might have 10 or 20 pieces on my website. I'm not so sure, but they tend to just fly out because people know that Cavansite is the crystal of forgiveness. So if you're angry, then you know what, you're angry for a reason. So if you can forgive everything that makes you angry, then you're not going to have anger anymore. So it makes sense that, the crystal of forgiveness is definitely a crystal for anger. And that is Cavansite. And that's why I say it's my number 2 or 3 crystal that I believe in, that I always work with, and makes a massive impact in people's lives. It really does. Especially mine. So if it helps me, because I'm a stubborn bugger, if it helped me, it'll definitely help you, that's for sure. So go to your local crystal store and ask for a genuine, make sure it's genuine, just be careful guys, a genuine piece of Cavansite. I think that's it really. I mean, I could talk all day about Cavansite, of the things that it's done and how it's worked on clients, the tremendous effect it has on clearing blocks, past issues, and also trauma, which is not only of this lifetime but of a past lifetime. So some people don't even realize that they're carrying trauma of something that they react to and they don't know why. That's past. That's because you've been here before and you carry a memory. That memory, you're here to clear it away. So you've often heard that you come here and you come to learn something, and if you don't, then it keeps reappearing all the time. It keeps giving you the chance to clear that same issue, that problem, that experience. I gotta feel that experience. I've got to learn from it and react to it in a way that, okay, I've overcome that experience. Okay, so if you've lost somebody to the spirit world, you've got to overcome that experience. You've got to feel it and then overcome it, and find ways of feeling better and not letting it affect you as much. Now, that's a hard one to say, because nobody wants to lose anybody, because we want to be able to hold them and kiss them and squeeze them and tell them every day that we love them. But there is a point in our life that we move forward from grief, and we learn to change the way we are. Instead of living in grief, living with the colour of black always around us, like our grandmas and great grandmas did, we learn to appreciate the life that they were here. We learn to accept. We learn to live with it, and find ways of rejoicing in that time that they were here, remembering the good times. This is the thing that you've got to conquer the pain and suffering that we go through. So Cavansite is one of those crystals. Helps with grief. It helps with many, many things. Like I said, I could go on all day about Cavansite, but the blue, particularly in the Cavansite, the blue, if you hold it in your fingertips, if you just hold it like that and meditate with it, you'll be surprised what you see. You'll be surprised how easily you're able to let go of pain and suffering. Really is. It's that easy. And with the help of Cavansite, you say, wow, yeah, it doesn't bother me anymore. And there's also an added thing. I know I could keep going on all day about this, because Cavansite's a beautiful and easy crystal to talk about. But when you touch Cavansite, it also gives you an energy, a wave, a blast that somehow opens up your psychic, your intuition, your all-seeing eye. And what it does, it actually opens 3 chakras, by the way. It opens your throat to be able to speak your truth. It opens here to be able to see the truth, and opens up here to be able to accept the truth. Accepting is the same as letting go. I accept the situation, let it go. However, when you're working with Cavansite, what happens is when these PowerPoints open, you're able to come to understandings, new understandings that you didn't know before. So, okay, I can let that go. Oh, wow, that makes sense now. I can let it go. Oh, they did this to me, but actually what happened to them when they did it to you? Oh, well, I tell you what happened to them. They ended up in this situation, and something really bad happens. Oh my God, that's terrible. I didn't realize. Maybe I should forgive them because they weren't really having a go at me, and so on. So you learn to attune to a higher whisper of spirit giving you guidance, and Cavansite definitely does that. These are just some of the things that I believe that this crystal is the reason. I would strongly say that the crystal for anger is definitely Cavansite. The crystal for forgiveness is definitely Cavansite. The crystal for frustration, for any kind of negative energy that holds you in a bad place, Cavansite is definitely that crystal. So my recommendation today is definitely Cavansite. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I love working with it. And to add to a beautiful crystal to that, I would always add a beautiful piece of tektite, because when you forgive, the energy moves, that dark energy moves from the body and is absorbed by the tektite. A perfect combination. Okay guys, I'll leave the links below if you'd like to have a look at Cavansite. They're on my website. There might be 10 or 20 pieces. I don't know, I haven't looked, but I'm sure there's still a few pieces left. If not, go to your local store and say, hey, do you happen to have a piece of Cavansite and a piece of tektite? Put them on and let's see if they make a difference in your life as they did for me and all my clients. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for supporting markbajerski.com. Talk to you real soon, and I will be doing the raffle in a week's time from now with all of those beautiful crystals and oils. So thank you. Bye for now.